Are you a salesman in any aspect of life? Do you want to raise your sales by 1,700% in the first quarter like I did in my sales job? This is Ryan Talks, and I wanted to talk about this. Now, this doesn't actually have to pertain to sales, but in my case, I'm gonna relate it to sales and what I did and how I did it. And if you're a salesperson, what you might want to look for if you are dealing with the general public, if you're dealing with clients, if you're dealing with somebody that you've never met before, whatever it is. One of the main things that I saw when I used to train people in sales, I used to go out, or I used to have people come out with me, and I actually did this with other people as well. And one of the things that I noticed, I went out for this sales, and we're going to get into the 1,700% in a little while, but one of the things I noticed, I went out with this guy. I did insurance sales. My first real sales job was with the guy. He made so much money. It was ridiculous. It was crazy how much money this guy made. I mean, he was averaging, just in new sales, because you also have residual, but I think in new sales alone, he was averaging like $5,000 or $6,000 a week, plus all his arrears for, the accruals for the last year, because you get paid in insurance for like the first 5 years of a policy. So he's making a lot of money, and I'm like, you know what? I want to learn from the best. So I'm like, can I go out with you? And he's like, I'm not into that. I said, no, I want to go out and I see your sales process. He's like, oh, that. Yeah, sure. What the hell? Why not? So we arranged a day and time, and I showed up at the office, and he was there, and he's like, can you drive? I'm like, this guy's got like this $8 billion car. I'm like, sure, I'll drive. And he starts talking to me. He's like, I wanted you to drive because I wanted, just to talk to you and get to know you before we go to the sales thing. I said, okay. All right. So we go to the sales thing, and he sold it. But the one thing that I noticed in this sales meeting was, he didn't mention what he was selling at all. He didn't mention at all. It never even came up. I don't even think this woman knew what she got. But she got what she wanted to fill a void that she thought she had in her life. There was no terminology. I'm like, I don't even barely know what this guy sold, and I'm licensed in this stuff, and I know this stuff pretty well, right? And it got me to thinking, like, people are not buying a product. They are buying a solution to their problem. And if you are selling a product, it's gonna make them back off. It's gonna make them back off. Now, this is true in real life. This is true in any situation whatsoever. Whether it's sales, whether it's you just met somebody, no matter what the situation. It could be you're buying tires from a guy, whatever. It doesn't matter. The solution is the only thing people care about. Maybe they're lonely and they're single. Their solution is finding, they should find themselves first, but their other solution is finding somebody else that they are attracted to so they can go do things that they like to do, because most people don't like doing things alone. We are creatures of being around people. Most animals, this is why you'll see, like the other day I saw a video, I think it was yesterday, I saw a video of this pig who had his little piglet behind it, and then a toad was following, like a toad. Like, this is not in the same even animal like species or anything, and the toad is following, because we are just creatures of wanting to be social creatures. Whether you're introvert, extrovert, non-introvert, which I'm not intro or extra, just whatever the situation calls for. So if you can sell that solution. So what I did is I started doing this. I started going into people's houses, and this is why I ended up starting to train people like this guy did to me. I was the first one. I got hired with 12 other people. I was the first one that was averaging 15, and this was back in the early 2000s. This was 2003 through 5 is when I had this particular job, and I started averaging $1,500 a week, which these days is like 50 cents. But back then, that was a decent amount. And so people started wondering what the hell I was doing. I would call these people, I would do all the cold calling. I'm not trying to push anything. Look, if you don't want me there, I don't want to be there either. Like, I'm not trying. I would rather have one good appointment a week than 15 or 20 shit appointments that I got to try to sell. So I did that. I saw in the beginning, because I can get you on the phone like, hey, you know what? Somebody's gonna die in your family. I know it. You need life insurance. Let me come out. And of course, you bully them enough, and they're like, well, all right, come on out. And then they're not there. I would really, this deal would be closed. I would literally just be going there to filling out the paperwork. This has started to be the appointments that I had. And it was amazing. And one of the things that because the company would call and say, why did you purchase with this agent? And the one thing that everybody always said, I wasn't pushy. They could tell that I didn't care if they bought it. They could tell that I didn't care which version of it that they bought. They could tell that I was actually listening to what they were saying. But, that listening is a dual-edged sword. If you're listening to what they're saying, you can actually use what they're saying to you as almost a weapon to make them buy. So what do I mean by that? You got your little notebook. Here, and you're taking notes. You're like, well, what? Why would you want to cover yourself? And you write that down, and they say, I mean, how much do you make? And how many times? Because it's 10 times your salary is the amount of insurance that you really should get. Do you think that's feasible? And they would say, whatever. And then if they were a little apprehensive at the end, you would say, well, look. You said here that you are really interested in protecting your family. I have the solution for that. But you need to get it. I mean, it's not going to just happen. And people, 95% of the time, were like, yeah, you're right. We told you that. And they would buy it, and most people would keep it. And so I carried that into banking. I moved from where I'm at now in Cleveland. I moved to Philadelphia, and I really didn't know the people out there. I didn't know what the group was, the demographics and everything like that. So I took a bank job. And this is where the 1700% came in. And I got put into a very, very, very affluent area. Very affluent area. I think the average house sale was like $5 or $6 million. And this was back in 2009. And people would come in, not a lot. This was a very slow branch, and this is why the sales were terrible. But people would come in, and they all said the same thing that they had said in the insurance. They could tell that I was listening to them, and the outcome I didn't care. Especially at this one, I had a salary at all the insurance places that I was at. I didn't have a salary, so if I didn't sell something, I wasn't eating, and I have plenty of fat storage, so it's not really that big a deal. But they could tell that I was actually listening to what they were saying. I have people in the DMs on Instagram, High Carbon Generator, I don't know if it's linked down below, but who talk to me and they're like, wow, you actually listened to us. Thank you for that. And, people are much more apt to do that, to do something. If you're over here, this is a video game cover, but if you're over here staring at your phone or writing notes and not listening to anything anybody's saying, or if you're out on a date, I'm single right now myself. If I was out on a date and she's looking at her phone the entire time, I'm going to go. She can pay. It's your problem, not mine. And that's the thing. If you're not listening to somebody, they can tell that, even in this modern day of staring at the phone and, I got to talk to this person. Even in this modern day of that, people still want to be listened to, especially women want to be listened to, heard, and actually feel like you actually care. And so you take this into your job situation. Now, if you hate your job, I still say go the extra mile, but find something else. Don't be miserable 24/7. I'm actually talking to myself right here because I have a post office job that pays me good. I hate it. I don't go. I haven't gone in 4 years. That's how much I hate it. So how I raised the sale 1,700% was I contacted the district manager, I think it was the district manager. I said, look, the sales aren't very good here. I said, I need a list of all of the customers for this branch. He's like, why? I said, well, we'll figure it out. He's like, you're not going to tell me? I said, just give me the thing. He's like, all right. So he got me this list. And it was in digital format, so I could just plug all these numbers in, and I could go into and start calling people. And I'd start calling people. I said, look, I know this might not be a big deal to you, but if you move this money into this, you'll get another 2%. And I mean, I had somebody, not everybody. I actually had one person who had $500,000 a day, 365 days a year, $500,000 spending account every day, just a single woman. So whatever percent this was, somewhat significant. I mean, to her, she didn't give a shit. She was out of Japan. Her family was like beyond wealthy. But other people did. And, this is how I got into it. And I say, I would either say, like, I can do this over the phone, but I'd actually rather meet you in person. And they would come in, we would set an appointment. And me, I am not one for idle chit-chat. I don't care about the weather. If I wanted to know weather, there's a window right here. Like, literally, there's a window. I'll look out the window. The window will tell me what the weather is. I don't care. So this was beautiful. This did not work as good when I got moved I moved myself to another branch. But in an affluent area, these people are, got to get it done. They don't want to talk about this stuff. I would, get everything filled out. They knew I was listening to them, but they knew that, if they bought it or not, I'm here. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I got 8 hours, right? I've got to sit here for 8 hours. Whether you buy something, move something, do some investing, whatever you do, doesn't matter. I'm stuck here. And 1,700% in the first quarter. That commission check was quite handsome. And it's always been like that. I could be the person that's standing outside the grocery store with flyers for, like, I don't know, like electric, for whatever reason, is like a big thing that you see. I don't chase. I let them come to me. I'll just sit there and take up enough space, kind of do one of these until people are curious. They come up to you, and you just go from there. I'm not chasing. I'm not going to chase. I didn't chase in sales. When I did sales, people were like, why don't you do sales now? I hate dressing up. I hate it. I won't even go to dinner if it requires dressing up. You can send me the notes. I hate it. I got a big neck. No matter what size neck, thing, I'm always choking. I barely can breathe as it is because I have deviated septum. I hate it. I hated the meetings. I hated all that kind of stuff, but I could sell. So if you are in that position, any position that requires you to communicate in some capacity with other people, listen to what they have to say. You'll go a lot farther. And listen to yourself, first of all. And don't tell yourself before you're going to the appointment, well, they might not buy. You already lost. That sale's gone. That sale flew out the window with the weather report that no one cares about. It's gone. Never to come back. And so if you are in any kind of position like this, and don't be passive aggressive. Nobody wants that. Just tell people what just do what you have to do and move on. And I don't see how your sales couldn't. You just know in your mind that they've already bought. You're just going there to close the deal. Just know this in your mind. I did this in 2 different states. I did it here. I did it in PA. 2 different states, completely different people. And it worked in both states. I did it in New York. I actually had people on Wall Street, calling me all the time. Come work. I don't want that commute. I don't care that much. It's money. Money will come in, money will go out. Not that big a deal. Anyways, that is the salesman. If you're the salesman, don't be the salesman. Be their advisor. Be whatever it is that they need. And you will find that things grow so much faster when you're listening to other people and not worrying about your bottom line. If you're always worrying about your bottom line, you're never going to get to your bottom line. You can calculate all the numbers you want to, which I never did. You can have this conscious, because then people can feel that when you go to these appointments or when you're meeting somebody. If you haven't gotten laid in forever and you go to on your first date, she can feel that. Now, if it's a dude and this woman hasn't been laid he's like, all right, we don't even need to eat. We can go. But if it's the other way around, she's going to be like, oh, I'm going to go find somebody else. It's just how it is. It is, the energies just repel each other in certain circumstances, and you have to have a different energy to get what you want. And you have to have a different mindset. You can't go into any situation with broke person mindset or this can't be done mindset, because you're going to get what you're thinking about all the time. What you think about expands. And if you expand into the world how broke or how little sex or how whatever it is, you're always going to get it back. Always. So think about this. If you're sales, if you're whatever, leave me down in the comments section if you use this and how this helped you. But I guarantee, if it weren't for the requirement of dressing up, I probably wouldn't have left. But I hate it so much. I even had tailored stuff. I hate it. Anyways, that's the video. Like, subscribe. I'll talk to you in the next one.